Hi everyone, today I will explain about Zeus versus Poseidon. Who would win? Zeus and Poseidon are perhaps the two most famous gods of the Greek pantheon. Much is known about them, but how are they different from one another? And in a hypothetical fight, who would win? Zeus and Poseidon are brothers in Greek mythology, and together managed to overthrow the Titans and usher in the current mythological age of mankind. Origin of Zeus and Poseidon's name. Origin of the name Zeus. Zeus was the great aboriginal god not only of all the Hellenic stocks, but of the so-called Indo-European race, nor does the predominating importance of his celestial functions in ritual, myth, and epithet permit of any other inference than that he was a personification of the bright sky. The coincidence of these activities with those of the great sky god of cognate name of other Indo-European peoples points in the same direction, and, moreover, his name alone is a proof of his origin, for it is a development of the base Dea, to shine, probably passing through the multiple stages of pronunciation and orthography until arriving at the form of Zeus. Through the invocation Father Zeus we can readily perceive a parallel to the Latin Jupiter, Diaspiter, and in the Indian Rig Veda the phrase Dayau Pitar, Father Sky, occurs in several passages. In most instances the non-celestial functions of Zeus can be shown to be more or less natural demonstrations, so to speak, of his celestial activities, although sometimes they may be suspected of being the results of contamination with the worship of other divinities. Origin of the name Poseidon. If we consult only the geographical register of the distribution of Poseidon's cult, we shall incline to classify him as a god of northern origin introduced into Hellas by immigrating Greeks. If, on the contrary, we have regard principally for his chief cult centers, such as Corinth and Boeotia, and accept a recent demonstration that his inseparable emblem, the trident, was in origin the lightning bolt of a Mesopotamian divinity, we cannot well help believing that he, too, came from the east. In this case, his cult would first have reached Crete and thence have been spread by sailors to Hellenic ports on the Aegean and Mediterranean. Whatever his initial functions may have been, he became among the Greeks the supreme master of the sea, and to explain his name as connected with Posus, Lord, makes the suggestion as to his eastern origin very plausible. Family and origin according to myth. Parents. Zeus and Poseidon are brothers, born from the Titans Cronus and Rhea, alongside Demeter, Hestia, Hera, and Hades. However, Cronus heard of a prophecy that said his children would one day depose him as king of the universe and of all creation. The only one who avoided this fate was Zeus, since he was hidden away by his mother, Rhea and Gaia, the earth itself. When Zeus reached adulthood, he managed to free his siblings, including Poseidon, from the belly of Cronos. Poseidon then fought with Zeus against their parents, the Titans, with Poseidon wielding the trident and Zeus the lightning bolt. Both of these had been forged for them by the one-eyed Cyclops. Appearance of Zeus and Poseidon. Zeus. The mature periods of Greek art represented Zeus as a fully developed man standing or seated in an attitude suggestive of serene dignity and undisputed power. As a rule, he holds the thunderbolt in his hand, but sometimes a ruler's staff or an image of victory, and occasionally an eagle can be observed at his side. Poseidon. Art received its model of Poseidon from Homer. From the best period onward he appears as a well-matured man not unlike the type of Zeus, but distinguishable from it by his heavier musculature and his less lordly manner. Ordinarily he is nude or lightly clad, either standing on a dolphin or a rock, or in the act of taking a step forward, and his frame stoops slightly, as if peering into the distance. He is shown bearded and with the hair of the head variously long or short and very often disheveled. He generally holds a trident in his hand, but if this and the dolphin are absent, identification is often difficult. Role of Zeus and Poseidon in Greek religion and mythology. After defeating the Titans, Zeus and his brothers drew lots for their share of the universe. The sea fell to Poseidon, and the underworld to Hades. Zeus became the supreme ruler. He was lord of the sky, the rain god and the cloud gatherer, who wielded the awful thunderbolt. His power was greater than that of all the other divinities together. Zeus was the ruler of the universe. The other gods had their departmental functions in nature, but Zeus could usurp them if only he chose to do so, and his will was supreme, being limited by nothing, for it was itself fate. He was not merely an Olympian, he was the Olympian, nor was he the petty god of a tribe or nation. Instead, all people who had cognizance acknowledged his supremacy as father of gods and men. The title father doesn't necessarily mean Zeus was the physical father or the creator of men and things, more that is that he exercised over the great family of beings, human and divine, the kind of rule and dominion one would call paternalistic. To men he dispensed joys or ills, as he pleased. He determined for them the issues of their battles in arms until they became mere puppets, and according to his whim he warned or deluded by omens. In serious cult and worship, Zeus was the one god, not the only god, but the one god among many subservient gods. This is henotheism, meaning the worship of a single, supreme god while not denying the existence or possible existence of other lower deities. So while the religion of ancient Greece was not quite monotheistic, it was very close to it. In the case of Homer and other dramatic poets, the unqualified use of God invariably refers to Zeus, who was the father of gods and men, chiefly in a spiritual and moral sense. For ancient Greeks, Zeus was ultimate court of appeal for offenses against the gods and the higher law, and the final arbiter of punishments. Poseidon. In myth and religious cult alike, Poseidon was preeminently the god of the sea, though all significant bodies of fresh water also came under his sway. The greater number of his epithets record his sundry relations with the sea and with things pertaining to the sea, nor, indeed, can it be doubted that whenever he was invoked in worship by the average Greek, his association with the sea was present before the mind, no matter how many other aspects he bore. Inland lakes or springs of brackish water were held to be of his creating. For instance, the so-called sea on the Acropolis of Athens, and he was the chief deity of seafaring communities like Iolcos, Troezen, and Corinth. While Poseidon gave no specific encouragement to the building of ships and to the technicalities of navigation, he was looked up to as the most reliable protector of ships and sailors amid the perils of voyage. No wonder that his shrines were very frequently located in harbors. He could calm or trouble the sea as he would. Inasmuch as the sea appeared to hold up the land, it was natural to attribute the otherwise inexplicable phenomena emanating from the depths of the earth to the activities of the powerful god of the ocean. It was he who caused the great upheaval which in some remote geological age drained the plains of Thessaly through the Vale of Tempe and left the face of nature scarred and wrinkled. And some of the Greeks even went so far as to say that the shocks of earthquakes were due to Demeter's resistance to the embraces of Poseidon. Zeus versus Poseidon in a fight. Who would win? If Zeus and Poseidon were to fight, Zeus would defeat his brother easily. Zeus is the supreme god in the Greek pantheon and has more power than all the other gods combined. Poseidon may be the god of water, but that is only because Zeus allows him to be. If Zeus wanted, he could claim Poseidon's title as god of the sea whenever, and Poseidon could do nothing but watch. Through lightning and thunder and the ability to foretell the future, Zeus would always be one step ahead of Poseidon, with the god of the seas having nothing to respond with.